last season they screwed over solo queue. They just implemented dynamic queue and it was like, hey, enjoy this. And they're like, wait, that was a huge mistake. I'm sorry we pissed off the high elo player base. We're going to bring it back to things where before. Just kidding, autofill's enabled. And so they keep throwing us for a loop. And I know a lot of people that aren't playing ranked that were previously like in Challenger last season, just because they don't like it. They don't like to have to get autofilled guaranteed, like at least a couple games every day. And the dodges happen very frequently because of autofill. So autofill has directly caused like this cycle of longer queues no matter what because of dodges. If you don't get your roll, you're very likely to dodge if you're thinking about it like in terms of selfish, like you want to climb, you're not going to play a game in a roller position that you're not good at, which is great because then you won't let your team down and be like, you know, a challenger player with like plat experience in a position. Like you might be like a challenger top laner, but you might have never played support before at high elo and be autofilled to support. And if you're like a plat skill level or even like below, like you just haven't like played that position very often against a challenger or a very high ranked player maining that position, even support, it's going to offset the game terribly. I would say one major argument for being a support main is a big part of the time you're playing against somebody that doesn't even play support. So you can just outperform them by default and just be more useful. So right now the ladder is fucked 3 ways to Sunday for so many reasons. Like just so many reasons. Like I'm not alone. I don't think I'm alone in the fact that I've seen that these areas like autofill and the matchmaking being more fluctuating have significant impact on your enjoyment in ranked. And if you're not enjoying the game or ranked, what happens? You stop playing or you give a worse experience to your teammates because you're not as happy. Happy players won't be as toxic. Like that's just gonna happen. Like that happens in life too. When you're happier, you're not gonna be as much of a dick to other people. So when you're not as happy, aka autofill's enabled, aka you're pissed off because you're in Challenger and you have a Diamond 5 on your team. I mean, let's take a second, and if you're involved with the drama or know the drama that's happening between Nightblue and Pie, the only reason why there is drama between them is because Nightblue, who hasn't played very much on his main account, Diamond 5 on his main account during that time period, he's not Diamond 5 now. During that time period, Nightblue was in Diamond 5. He didn't play very many games. He was smurfing and whatnot. He was placed into a game with a player ranked 5 on the ladder. That whole drama wouldn't have happened because they wouldn't have even gotten to the same game if the ladder was working correctly. Like all that shit that went down between them yesterday and will probably continue. And who cares like who's right and wrong? Like that situation would not have happened if the ladder was working correctly. You should not have Diamond 5 players against top 10 players in Challenger. Like, I'm not trying to say that Nightblue is a Diamond 5 player. I think he got the Challenger last season. He's a Challenger player. He just hasn't played much right now on the ladder. And the argument of, like, whether he's good enough or not wouldn't have even happened because he should be, while he's laddering up, like, playing late, he should be in games against people that are in a similar situation. The ladder is broken, and, like, it's ruining the enjoyment for a lot of people. And this is surfacing in a lot of areas, like this huge drama between Pie and Nightblue, like as a result of this stupid situation. So I'm sorry to vent like that, and I don't know if that'll like end up on Reddit or something, but legitimately matchmaking is broken, and I hate that it's not being addressed. Like it's like a meme now. Like matchmaking is so much of a joke. It like when someone complains about it, everybody just rolls their eyes like, yeah, we know it's a joke. Well, then like it needs to be fixed. It needs to be addressed. If it makes like 2 of the biggest league streamers like hate each other's guts because of a situation that's really shitty and kind of maybe in a joke, like everybody's on edge. Everybody's on edge right now. Matchmaking, reading, and ladder are 2 different things. Okay, so let me explain something called the soft reset. Every season, League of Legends does a soft reset. One of the reasons why I was also like kind of complaining when I did my placement matches was because the soft reset hit me and I played my placement matches late. So even though I was Challenger at the end of last season, matchmaking, still in Challenger, I was playing against players that had spammed games that were Platinum from last season and were in Diamond, if not sometimes, in some cases, there were like Plat players, at least one Plat player from last season that got to Challenger because he spammed games. So when the season resets, your matchmaking rating also will have a soft reset. So if you haven't played your placement matches and you're in Challenger, you could, on average, like if 50 games were played by these plat players and they won like half of them or something like that, they were probably in Diamond if they got lucky, or High Diamond or something like that. So you're playing with like plat players from last season having like been in Challenger in your prior season because you played your placement matches late. So there's a huge difference between, like, and that's not the only case. Like, Nightblue is not a special circumstance for being in Diamond 5 and having been put in PewDiePie's game. This also happened to me and other players where we would get pulled into games against challengers, or I also saw PewDiePie would like, that's not the only Diamond 5 player he's had on his team that was actually Diamond 5, you know what I mean? Like, like true Diamond 5 players have been on his team that were like Diamond from last season or Plat from last season that just get pulled into Challenger games. Like, this is not a rarity. This has happened very frequently right now. When I was doing my placements, I was doing it like a week or two late, and people were just spamming games. Like, the soft reset will cut your MMR down a lot. So if you're Challenger from last season and you do your placements like a week or two late, your MMR is not Challenger anymore. Not because you waited, but because your MMR is cut significantly when the season ends, and it's percentage. I don't know the exact number. I don't know if they've ever posted it. I don't think anyone's ever been like, all right, this is the exact number your MMR is divided by what fraction it is when the season starts. But if you're winning a lot of games, your MMR is climbing faster. So if you were to be Challenger from last season and win like all your placement matches, the highest rank that you can get placed is Plat 1, no matter what. You can't get any higher than Plat 1. You could go 0 and 10 in your placements, and you'll still get into at least high platinum if you were a Challenger last season, and that's not really going to happen. You go 5 and 5 and you're guaranteed Plat 1, no doubt. That's the highest you can get out of your placements, no matter what. So if you just like go like 10 and 0 in your placements and you win the next 20 games straight, then your MMR is going to be just disturbingly high, because every like consecutive win that you get while you're like on a win streak, you get even more matchmaking rating, like bonus points almost. That's just something I've seen happen. I know that's for sure, because when you're in a losing streak, it actually goes against you too. Like, if you lose like 20 games in a row, like, it's significantly worse than losing those 20 games spaced out between wins, if that makes sense. It actually, you start losing more and more points because your matchmaking rating is dropping even more significantly. I don't think it's a flat amount, your hidden matchmaking rating on a loss. I actually think it cycles heavily based on your win streaks and lose streaks. So you will like actually get more hidden matchmaking rating if you're on a win streak, or lose more if you're on a lose streak than you will just like, you know, win, lose, or just win, lose, win, lose. So there's some really fucked up things with matchmaking. They changed their algorithm to just like search a wider range. So you will have like a rank 1 like Viper player potentially in the same game as a Diamond 5 player, and I think the issue is it ruins the integrity of the ladder because there's just too much difference in skill level between Diamond players and Challenger players.